being a business owner can be really tough. Being a handmade artisan business owner can be even tougher. You know, we wear our hearts on our sleeves, right? We put our heart and soul into everything that we do. So when our confidence takes a knock, what are the tools that you can use to literally get back into that space of positivity? My name's Lena Broughton and I'm the very proud owner of madeit.com.au, and if you're a handmade artisan, you're in the right spot. This is the Handmade Daily on YouTube, and each day I'm sharing just snippets of information to help simplify and amplify your journey with selling online. So today I wanted to talk about what it looks like when your confidence takes a little bit of a dip, and dive into maybe a few of the reasons why it might have taken a dip in the first place, and how you can really go about kind of resetting yourself in that moment as well. You know, I've got a few artist friends who enter into a lot of competitions and exhibitions and all of those different aspects, and it can be really taxing on your confidence when or if you don't make it into the gallery, or you don't make it into the exhibition, or you don't make it into the finals, also because you have no knowledge about really why someone else got picked over you. And I think that's one of the first things that comes up for me when we're talking about confidence taking a bit of a dip. More often than not, it's that you're in that trap of comparison. You know, what do they say about comparison is the thief of joy? And it's so true. If we are able to actually just reconnect back into why we do what we do and the passion of it, then worrying about what someone else is doing or what part of the journey they're on becomes irrelevant. And for me personally, that's where I find that a lot of the confidence drops live, when we start to compare ourselves to other and we get into that space of not feeling good enough. So in a really practical aspect, a few of the tools that I would suggest, if you've had a bit of a knock with your confidence, first and foremost, get off social media and stop looking at other people's stuff, or only be on social media and looking at really positive, uplifting spaces which are going to make you and help you feel great. You know, it's one of the reasons why we have the Handmade Daily over on Instagram, which is at 9 a.m. live Australian Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday, because I wanted to create a space where you could go and just get that like burst of inspiration and that burst of positivity in order for you to be able to keep showing up as a handmade artisan. I believe so strongly that what we create as handmade artisans is really important in the world, but it's also really special work, which means it takes a different lens and different method in order for you to be able to keep showing up. The next aspect I would say is that if you've been working tirelessly, maybe you've had back-to-back markets, maybe you've spent a huge amount of time setting up your online store and hoping to get those sales. Hot tip, sales don't come from setting up the store, they come from the marketing, but that's part of a different conversation. But you might need a break. And when I say a break, it might mean that you literally put down your tools from creating, or it might mean that you pick up your tools and you create without thinking about selling. And that's a very different space in order to create by. You know, I've had a bit of a gap with myself personally since I sold my fashion label. You know, I started my journey like literally creating clothing and making dresses myself, right? In that state of joy and creativity. And went through building this massive business, and then I sold the massive business, and that was fantastic. But I have found it's been quite a journey for me to reconnect back into what it was that I was creating and why I created, and the real joy and passion that comes from creating when you're not worrying about selling. Now, I know that we all want to have a life where we are making income from our creativity, but it may not be what you need right now. You might just need to take a break, get off social media, only the positive ponies, right? And look at how can I start creating again, really with the passion and the joy of why I started creating in the first place. I think as handmade artisans, when we're selling our creations as well, we can start to slip into a little bit of a production line, which means that some of that joy and some of that just pure bliss tends to disappear a little bit. Now, if you've had a bit of a confidence drop, right, being in that hamster wheel can be so draining. So what could you do today to actually just reconnect to what it is that you create purely for the joy of creating? So there's just a couple of ideas to get you set. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you're following, subscribing so that you get all the updates, but also pop a comment down below. I'd love to connect with you directly and love to hear what's your tool, what's your trick that you do. If your confidence taken a knock, what's one of the tools or methods that you use? Have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow for the Handmade Daily. Bye.